Like my colleague Minister McConlogue, I also want to begin by speaking about Ukraine, and we simply cannot forget the thousands of people that are suffering in Ukraine as we speak here this evening. We must also think of their fellow Ukrainians who have been forced to flee here to Ireland and across the world to avoid the wanton death and destruction forced on their country by the illegal invasion from Russia. We as a government are committed to welcoming people fleeing the war in Ukraine and seeking protection in Ireland. Work is ongoing across government to provide supports to those who have arrived over the last few weeks, and my colleagues across government continue to plan for the large numbers of further people who may arrive. My own department and its agencies are working to welcome Ukrainians to this country too. And to date, Teagasc has welcomed over 50 Ukrainians in Ballyhaise College in Cavan and a further 35 Ukrainians welcomed in Clonakilty College in Cork. As we all know, the war has put further pressure on already increasing input costs across many sectors, but particularly in agriculture. Minister McConlogue has outlined many of the actions taken by the government to assist farmers across Ireland with the challenges they are facing. Deputy Phelan spoke about grass and our great ability to grow it, and he is right. But unfortunately, the grass types we largely grow are almost wholly reliant on fossil fuel-based fertiliser, and therein lies a problem. That's why this government has supported measures like the multi-species sward scheme and the red clover scheme to promote environmentally sustainable methods of farming, and thereby greatly reducing the nitrogen fertiliser required whilst maintaining forage yields. This is an important measure which will help farmers reduce the cost of their fertiliser inputs. And both these measures, multi-species swards and red clover silage, can save farmers monies while maintaining production levels and reducing their farm carbon footprint. So win-win. This measure is being delivered by my department in cooperation with participating agri-retailers and cooperatives throughout the country. It will support the establishment of approximately 12,000 hectares of multi-species swards and approximately 4,000 hectares of the red clover silage mix. On organics, £256 million is earmarked for the organic farming sector over the lifetime of the next Common Agricultural Policy. This compares to £56 million under the current CAP organic farming scheme, which represents a five-fold increase in funding and will help Ireland achieve a 7.5% organic target by 2027, something that the European Commission warmly welcomed in their letter. Organic farming is less reliant on costly inputs, and I again urge farmers to consider in the coming months how it could benefit not only their farm, but also their farm profitability and their own lifestyle and well-being. The scheme will open again later in this year. We have also secured almost €3 million in support for the critically important horticulture sector, and this aid package, as my colleague Minister McConlogue highlighted, will support high-wire protected glasshouse producers of tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers and field veg producers, mushroom producers and commercial apple producers. The sector, like many others, is facing huge increases in input costs, and we must ensure the long-term viability of this sector. These sectors make valuable contributions to the overall economy, as well as playing a key role in producing top-class, safe, nutritious and local food. It is critical also that retailers similarly support native horticulture producers, providing choice to the consumer and valuing our native production base, something our consumers expect, and thereby securing the long-term sustainable future of our horticulture industry. Finally, it would be remiss of me not to mention forestry. The output of forestry licences was severely, as deputies should know and will know, was severely impacted from 2019 onwards as a result of a High Court ruling around environmental regulation. Since this ruling, my department has invested in significant resources in hiring additional ecologists, forestry inspectors and administrative staff to work solely on licensing and to deal with the significant additional workload the 2019 rulings resulted in. So I can assure Deputy Sherlock that there is a great sense of urgency around forestry. And last year, licensing increased by 56%, and my department assures me that it will increase afforestation licences by 100% this year. So progress has and will continue to be made. In addition, the passing of legislation recently will enable the development of a scheme to allow up to 1 hectare of native trees to be planted in suitable areas without the need for an afforestation licence. And I hope to have this scheme established before the end of the year. Engagement with stakeholders on the design of such a scheme will begin shortly. Alongside this, through the work of Project Woodland, a new forest strategy is being developed, which will include attractive financial supports to incentivise afforestation and help meet our climate targets.